to Everything Recycled, where today we are going to ask ourselves what is in a name. That which we call a rose by any other will still smell as sweet. We're going to be making origami roses today. We're going to be making them out of recycled book paper, or upcycled book paper more correctly. And as you can see, we will need to start with a square. So that is the first thing that I am doing. It took me a long time to find this rose pattern and then also to perfect it so it didn't look too square and origami-esque. Something that I love about origami is that it is mathematic. Once you've got it correct, you know it's correct. But sometimes actually it's the imperfections that make things like flowers more real and more tangible. So for instance, if you do this origami and you keep it within its perfectly squareness without twisting it or maneuvering it in an organic way, you will actually have to end up with something that is more diamond than rose and quite sharp and pointy, whereas roses tend to be a lot more natural. So first, we're just going to fold them in halves according to the squares. And the reason that we are doing this isn't necessarily because we need just the half. We're doing it to find a corner. So we're going to fold in half again up to the midline. And once you've done this on both sides, you'll then need to bring the paper's edge to the opposite midline. Now, once you've done this several hundred times and have become quite good at origami roses, you'll only need to fold it in half and the corner down. But for now, I'm going to show you the correct way. So once you've done those two folds, you're going to fold again, as you can see, to that midline to get that inner eighth closest to the midline of the paper. Yep, and on the other side, again, getting that inner eighth. So you should have 2 quarters on the edges and 4 inner eighths of your paper. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. And essentially what we're doing now is just building out the base of our origami rose. I hope you enjoy the piece of real time. I know it's really common for them to speed things up, but I quite like going at a slow pace, relishing in the folds. And as you can see, we have a grid of inner 8 squares and then the halves around the edges. Now fold this in half and then at that half to make a tiny square, and this corner is the one you'll be folding up. So as you can see, if you know the size of corner you should be making for that size of paper, you can just fold the halves and the corner. And here, you'll be popping it out. Now just remember, you want right side facing down and the wrong side facing up. Something I often forget and then make my roses inside out. And you're going to fold along the midline to the points of the diamond that you've just inset. This takes a bit of practice and finessing. But essentially you're going to crease the edges of the diamond and push it in, fold along the midline in both directions, and you'll get that divot in your paper, fold that down, and open it up, and you would have just done a twisted square within your paper. When you turn it over, there'll just be a twist, and you're going to fold each corner into the middle of that twist. If you want to see what I intend to do with my origami roses, feel free to go ahead and follow us on Instagram at Everything Recycled. Now this is the tricky bit. You want to take the corner and tuck it in under the flap so that the edges line up perfectly. So take the corner into the middle of the flap, fold it and tuck. Take the corner into the middle of the flap, fold it and tuck. See, it's getting gradually harder. And then on this one, you will need to take it, push the paper till it pops. Careful not to rip, especially if you're working with old paper. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Finesse it in there. Make your point, and then I like to tuck my tabs in just to make it tidy. If you're going to be attaching it to other things, you don't need to tuck your tabs in. But I like the structure that it gives. Okay, now this is the bit that you want to be careful not to rip. You're just going to begin by slowly peeling down the corners in a circular motion, so not one corner all the way. And then I like to tuck mine in at random angles to give it a more natural look. So you don't want to tuck them all the same way or it'll look too robotic. And then what I'm doing here is forcing the rose to turn along its spiral and kind of massaging out any of those edges that are extra square. Finesse, finesse, finesse. Pull out any edges, pop your petals up, twist, and you're done. The larger project that I'm using them in. I'm making them for my wedding. And if you want to subscribe and stick around, I'm going to show you how to make these origami orchids, which is stunning. And origamis are all the rage for weddings at the moment. See you soon.